Good day, everyone. We will be discussing about a conjunction. When we say conjunction, it is a word or phrase that connects words, phrases, clauses, and sentences together. And next is coordination. Coordination is a process of combining ideas. Two constituents of the same type can be put together, produce another larger constituent of the same type. Traditional grammar calls this process compounding. The first is compound sentence. When we say compound sentence, it is made up of two independent clauses. When we say independent clauses, it means that can stand by itself or with a subject and predicate. It's joined by the coordinating conjunction. The coordinating conjunction includes a fun boys. When we say fun boys, F stands for, A stands for and, N stands for nor, B stands for but, O stands for or, Y stands for yet, S stands for so. So that you should remember the word fun boys. For example, I spoke to her in Filipino, but she responded in English. Now let us examine this sentence. What do you think are two independent clauses in this sentence? First, our independent clauses is I spoke to her in Filipino. Why? Because it expresses a complete thought. And also, it does have a subject and predicate. The subject is I, the verb or predicate is spoke. It is what the subject did. Next is our coordinating conjunction is but. Next, our independent clauses also is our subject is she and our verb is responded. That's why our pattern is independent clauses plus coordinating conjunction plus independent clauses. Next, we will be tackling about the compound subject. When we say compound subject, it is consists of two or more individual nouns, phrases coordinated to from the single or no longer noun phrase. For example, her shoes and ankles were covered with mud. Her shoes and ankles is the compound subject, and the predicate in both the sentences is were covered with mud. Next is our compound verb. When we say compound verb, it is a verb that consists of more than one word. For example, my cat is running and jumping. Our subject is cat and our compound verb is running and jumping. Next is compound object. When we say compound object, two or more objects are used after transitive verb. For example, I don't invite John and Peter to enjoy my party. The subject is I. The verb is don't invite. The compound object is John and Peter.
Forms of coordinating conjunctions. Coordinating conjunctions connect two or more words, phrases, or clauses. Other than and, simple coordinating conjunctions include for, nor, but, or, yet, and so. Note the following examples. Example number 1, milk or chocolate. The coordinating conjunction or used to introduce options or present alternative choices. It could be adjective, nouns, pronouns, phrases, or clauses. Another example for the coordinating conjunction or, would you like a cup of coffee or tea? As like what I've said, the coordinating conjunction or is used to introduce options or present alternative choices. For the coordinating conjunction but and yet, first, I will be discussing what is the difference between coordinating conjunction but and yet. For the coordinating conjunction but, show contrast, general perspective, and their differences. However, The coordinating conjunction yet show coordination to express unexpected or a surprise. In our example there, small but or yet terrible. It could be small but terrible or small yet terrible. In our sentence number 1 uses the coordinating conjunction but, show contrast, and in our sentence number 2 uses the coordinating conjunction yet, show coordination. It means the coordinating conjunction but introduces the second phrases or clauses as a contrast to the previous one. And for the coordinating conjunction yet, used to present contrast but something a bit surprising or interesting. For the coordinating conjunction so, we have there the example, he came late so he missed the fun. The first clause, he came late, is his action, and the second clause, he missed the fun, is the result of his action. And the coordinating conjunction so, used to join two independent clauses, introducing the second clause as the effect or result of the first clause. For the coordinating conjunction for, we have there the example, they accepted the verdict for they failed to counter the charges against them. So why they accepted the verdict? Because it is they failed to counter the charges against them. So the coordinating conjunction for used to give a reason for something or introduces the second clauses as the reason or cause of the first clause. Other forms of correlative conjunctions are either, or, not only, but also, neither, nor. Correlative conjunctions, also known as paired conjunctions, set that are always used together, join words, phrases, or independent clauses of the same important structure. Example number 1, either Tony or Nico will top the test. It means the choice is just between Tony and Nico who will top the test. Another example, either Nani or Betty is paying the bill for this month. Meaning, if we were to choose who's responsible to pay the bill for this month, the choice is just between Betty and Nancy. Either and or is the opposite to neither or nor. Emphasizes the choice is limited to the only two options given. For our example number 2, Anna is neither friendly nor generous. If we emphasizes, so it means Anna is not friendly or Anna is not generous. Another example, she has neither the money nor the time to go for an expensive night. So it means she doesn't have the money or she doesn't have the time. The use of correlative conjunction neither or nor used for negating two options given. Example number 3. Our teacher is not only competent but also very understanding. To emphasize the sentence, our teacher is competent and our teacher is very understanding. Another example, this bag is not only high quality but also attractive. To emphasize this sentence, this bag is high on quality and this bag is attractive. The use of not only and but also correlative conjunction is to highlight additional element in the sentence. So, it's either we use the correlative conjunction not only and but also, still the sentence is understandable.
Uses of coordinating conjunction. For, to introduce reason, nor to conjoin two negative sentences, and to add additional but to show the contrast, or to show choice, yet to limit or contradict, so to introduce an effect or result. Here are some examples of uses of coordinating conjunction. For, he was working for he loves this company. The sentence is given the reason. And John hates you a lot and he'll never talk to you. In this sentence you are adding an additional. Nor, I have never talked to that guy, nor I do I want to do it. Also, you have an option, but the same you also do not want. But I wanted to help you, but they didn't let me do it. You are contrasting. Or, do you want to come with us? Or do you want to stay here? You have given an option. Yet, all of us work really hard to pass the test. Yet, we all failed. You are contrasting naman this in this sentence. So, I was feeling blue, so I didn't go to office. It is a result or a consequence naman in a given sentence.
A deeper and thorough study of each conjunction, however, reveals certain properties beyond the given straightforward account. To illustrate, here are the other meaning and uses of "and". Number 1. As logical operator, the truth conditioning meaning. The entire conjoined statement is true so long as each conjunct that makes it up is true. If one conjunct is false, then the statement is false. For example, Philippines is an archipelago and it is an Asian country. The conjoined statement is true because the two conjunct is true. The other example is, the Philippines is an archipelago and it is a European country. The conjoined statement is false because one conjunct is false. Number 2. As marker of many meanings. Celsey, Murcia, and Larsen Freeman, 2001, citing Posner, 1980, provides these illustrations. And there, Annie is in the kitchen and she is making donuts. And during this time, Annie fell into a deeper sleep and her facial color returned. And coming from it, the window was open and there was a draft. And after that, Peter married Annie and she had a baby. And thereby Paul pounded on the stone and he shattered it.
As inferential connective, a reader or listener can draw an inferential connection from sentences like Susan jumped and hurt her uncle. The use of "and" invites the listener or reader to seek some other implicit relevant connection between stated conjuncts. Inferential connective is a symbol which is used to connect two or more people propositional or predicate logics in such as manner that resultant logic depends only on the input logic and the meaning of the connective use. Inferential marker of speaker continuation. In conversational discourse, sometimes a speaker uses and signal that the utterances to follow is in some way connected with what has come before. This particular use of and goes beyond the usual content conjunctive use, rather it places and into the category of discourse markers like "oh" and "well". Inferential marker of speaker continuation. Markers include such elements as "and", "or", "both", "also", "even", "because", "however", "indeed", "in addition", "allegedly", "frankly", "stupidly", "cleverly", "on the one hand", "on the other hand", "by the way", "then", "so", "well", "you see", "right", etc. Discourse markers from a heterogeneous functional class that include diverse grammatical categories with a similar function. Discourse markers link textual fragments, facilitating the transition between them, and consequently ensuring the textual cohesion. In addition, discourse markers manifest the semantic pragmatic relationship between the textual elements connected by them. Hence, discourse markers do not have a syntactic functions but a semantic pragmatic one.
Subordination.
Subordination means putting less important ideas in less important grammatical structures like dependent clauses. One means of subordination is sentence combining or reducing. Sentence combining and reducing are two methods of subordination used to express relationship between ideas and give emphasis to more important information. They involve the restructuring and merging of multiple sentences into a single sentence or a more complex sentence structure. Sentence combining involves taking two or more related sentences and combining them into a single sentence. This is often done by coordinating conjunctions such as and, but, or, etc. Subordinating conjunctions such as although, because, while, etc. or other linking words. In this sentence combining exercise, we have two separate sentences. Melissa topped the test. Melissa was late by 20 minutes. To combine the sentences using a dependent clause and independent clause, we can use the subordinating conjunctions although to introduce the dependent clause and replace the second sentence to make it an independent clause. The combined sentence would be although Melissa was late by 20 minutes, she topped the test. In this combined sentence, although Melissa was late by 20 minutes is the independent clause because it cannot stand alone as a complete sentence. It relies on the independent clause, she topped the test to form a complete thought. The subordinating conjunction although is used to show the contrast between Melissa being late and still performing well on the test. Reducing. The sentence although late Melissa topped the test is an example of a complex sentence. It consists of a dependent clause although late and an independent clause Melissa topped the test. The dependent clause although late provides additional information or context about Melissa's lateness. It indicates that despite being late something else happened which is mentioned in the independent clause. The independent clause Melissa topped the test is a complete sentence on its own. It conveys the main idea of the sentence which is that Melissa achieved the highest score of the test. By combining the dependent clause and the independent clause, the sentence suggests a contrast or unexpected outcome. It highlights the impressive accomplishment of Melissa topping the test despite her lateness.
Subordinating conjunctions. Subordinating conjunctions do the job of connecting dependent clauses to independent clauses. Shown below are different types. For the type, we have the time, and the conjunctions are when, before, after, since, while, until, and as. For the conditional, we have if and unless. For the purpose, we have in order to and so that. For the reason, we have because and since and as. For the result, we have so that. For the concessive, we have although, though, while, and despite. For the place, we have where and wherever. For the manner, we have as and like. Here are the examples. For the time, her father died when she was young. Conditional, if I could afford it, I would buy a car. For the purpose, they had to extend the session in order to discuss all concerns raised. For the reason, I couldn't ignore him because he was my childhood playmate. For the result, she reviewed very hard so that she would pass the LET. For the concessive, while I did well in class, I was a poor performer in club activities. For the place, wherever I stayed, I found troublesome neighbors. For the manner, is she often rude and cross like she's been this past week?
Relative clause. Another form of subordinations involve the embedding of the clauses within another. It is composed of relative pronoun who, whom, whose, which, where, when, and why. A relative clause is a clause that modifies a noun or noun phrase and uses some grammatical device to indicate that one of the arguments in the relative clause refers to the noun or noun phrase.
So we have here the example of relative clauses with the use of relative pronoun whose and when. So the first sentence, do you know the gallerist? His car was stolen. So we haven't using here relative pronoun. In using whose, the sentence will become, Do you know the gallerist whose car was stolen? So the next sentence is with the use of relative pronoun when. Without relative pronoun, it will be 1821 is the year. Napoleon Bonaparte died then. So with the use of relative pronoun when, it will become 1821 is the year when Napoleon Bonaparte died.